Alright everybody, welcome back to another trading video here. I do just have one trade to go over from today, but then I did want to talk just about OCGN, which I traded yesterday, but we'll just get into it. So today NRXP was our big runner here. I did not play it at all in the morning. I was not really looking to play something right out of the open today, and then I just got tied up with work anyway, but it was our big runner. It had ran just a couple days ago actually. You see we get this big green candle here, and then yesterday was, let me get rid of those, just kind of, a chill day for it. Gave back a little bit of its gains, but not a massive red day. And then we got another big gap up on news today, and it did have a bigger float, I think about 55 million or so, 53 million float, so a little higher than I'd like, but we were getting good volume and obviously a huge pre-market spike, and it had just ran a couple days ago, so it's got a little momentum with it and it can run. But I actually just took it late day here. Since my poor trade yesterday on PROG, I think the ticker was, in the middle of the day, I actually just completely left in the middle of the day today because I did not want to tempt myself and do something stupid. And then I came back like right at 3 o'clock and wasn't even home for not even looking at the market for 2 minutes and got into a trade, which is almost just as bad as watching it all day and entering in at a slow time. Need to just get back and kind of wait like 15 minutes before entering anything. Not that this was a terrible setup here, but obviously it doesn't look like I would make any money going long on this sell-off in the end of the day around 3 o'clock. But I did get in right around, actually got my orders over here. So I just got 50 shares of it at $12.79, right at 301 right here. So after this giant pullback that I kind of watched, we bounced off of VWAP and then kind of get a little consolidation here. And I really liked that for, a solid bounce. It had, bounced off of VWAP and got this huge run earlier, bounced off of it there and got a little move. And right here it did dip under it, as you can see, a couple times, so it didn't honor it completely, but both times it did get a nice bounce. So when I went into this originally, I was thinking, just risk on VWAP, and then I thought about it and I saw, these kind of fall under. So I just looked at this, and this went 10 cents below VWAP. VWAP's 1260 right here, and the low is 1251. So I told myself I'd give it 10 cents below VWAP. I didn't want to just get faked out on something so small. So that is why I ended up selling out at 12.58, I believe it was. Lost like 10 bucks. Nothing bad. Again, not like a terrible setup. I'm just going for that bounce, and I just had to keep reminding myself before I got into this trade of how bad I was yesterday of adding to losers and not cutting the loss and letting it run. So this time, as soon as it broke that level, I just got out of it, and it paid off. Yeah, you get a little bit of a bounce here. Like I sold at 12.58, so I don't know, somewhere right in here. And then it does go down to 12.50, but then you get a little bit of a bounce to 12.68, but it just rejects off of VWAP. So yeah, I could have saved myself a few cents there, but it also may have not given you that little bounce. And then as you can see, we get a big sell-off there. So just a kind of reinforcement, sticking to those risk levels and stop losses in the plan, and not getting caught up in something like this and letting a small loss just get into something bigger, start adding to it, and then just kind of getting all out of whack hoping for something. So yeah, nothing too crazy there. I almost didn't make a video just because that was such a kind of minor thing, but I did just want to bring up OCGN. So if you watched the video from yesterday, you know that I tried to buy the dip right at the open there, and then got shook up in this pullback here and sold out into some consolidation before we got this run up. And it just looking at it from this morning, I actually kind of watched it this morning, and it's just like, of course, this was almost the same exact setup that happened yesterday that I took. holding right around that $9 level. The red to green move, this was a little higher. I think yesterday the red to green was at $9.11. This is at like 9.23. But all in all, pretty much the similar setup. We dropped below that $9 level, which is where this line is supposed to be, and get this pullback down to 878. If you remember yesterday, we got the pullback to 875. I got in at 876. But yesterday, we just decided to sell off another 50 cents in the first minute or two and get nothing. And today, literally just like the perfect run up off of that first minute sell off and just ran straight to the 970s. And man, that just kind of sucks. You know what I mean? Because it was almost an identical like pre-market action pullback right at the open, and today it worked and yesterday it didn't. But I mean, that just kind of goes to show, like, if you have patterns that you play, if you have things that work for you that you trust, they're not always going to work. Nothing in the market is a guarantee. It's not an exact science by any means. You just have to find where you have an edge, set your risk levels, and stick to them and stick to the plan, and understand that, yeah, you might miss it like I did yesterday and take a $10 loss or $15 loss, whatever it may be. This one I obviously like averaged it down into and made a huge mess of it. But it just goes to show that you have to stick to those patterns if you know that they win more often than they don't. Just because it lost yesterday was a reason that I didn't want to play it this morning. But if I would have played it this morning into this gap with the same size, I would have, more than tripled the loss. I think yesterday I took like a $15 loss or something like that. I don't remember exactly, $14 or something. But I would have made like triple that amount if I would have taken the same exact play this morning, and then it works out. So that's just, I don't know, something to keep in mind. You can't just give up on a pattern or not play it the next day because it got you the day before. And then I did try to play BBIG here, actually, at the end of the day after I took that loss on NRXP. And I ended up not playing it. BBIG is like a big Wall Street bets play. It's heavily shorted, and they just are trying to squeeze hedge funds and things of that nature and get a run up. So it has been getting some action the last few days. I didn't get in on it. I don't really play the Wall Street bets plays like a ton, just based off of the rumors and the talk that it's a Wall Street bets play. But if it sets up in a nice pattern, then I will. And today, as you can see, we're down in the low sixes yesterday and get a nice move up to the sevens. And then we kind of fake on the red to green move here and just consolidate a little bit below VWAP right above this 650 level. And then when we go green through VWAP, and then this thing really rips here. And then we get this consolidation right at $8. And that's what I tried to get in on. But I was being a chooch and wanted like the perfect entry instead of getting in right at $8, because we're kind of, we had dropped below 8 down to like 787 and a half, I believe. Yeah, 787 and a half right there. And then this is where I started watching it. It recovered over 8 and came back down. And then we hit this pullback to 794, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to get in. And I had my order set up and ready to go for $8. And then since it kept going back and forth, I was like, you know what, I'm going to risk down to 787 and a half, or 786 would be where I cut at. So I'm going to try and save 4 cents a share. Instead of entering at 8, I'll get in at 796 and then just be risking 10 cents a share even. And that really screwed me, because then we did not get that pullback to 796 there, and I didn't put in my order at 8. Then we took off for a nice, 50 cents a share. Actually, yeah, here's my little order book there. Just 55 shares, because actually I've been trading, I guess I traded a lot of size yesterday and a lot of money. I only have about $450 available in my cash account right now, because then I took this trade, which just locked up a little bit of money as well, like $600 something position there, which will be locked up until actually Monday. So yeah, this is all I could really afford to do with the available cash. And you can see I put my order down to 796, and just trying to save those 4 cents a share cost me big time. I was really just looking to make like 15 bucks or so, 20 bucks just to make up for my loss and get green on the day. And I missed out on it there. It is what it is. I actually almost bought into it into the close for an after hours squeeze. I thought it would go a little stronger. Happy I didn't. It's fading off now. So yeah, just pretty quick video here. Nothing too crazy with the trade I took on NRXP or BBIG, but I just kind of wanted to touch back on OCGN. And, you know, that's a nice move that we had today that I should have been a part of if I would have just, you know, stuck to the patterns and understand they don't work 100% of the time, but you got to keep playing them. Well, that's it for me today. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.